Dobro ви најдов. Јас сум Марк Мицковски од Бафало, Нью Йорк, едно мало село во државата Нью Йорк. Во интерес на вашето време и ефикасност, ќе продолжам мојот говор по англиски, значи по англиски, за да побрзо да поминеме, за да поиграме, да се видиме, да се запознеме. So please forgive my speech in English, only because I want to be more efficient. Dear friends, it's a privilege to be here at St. Cyril Methody, and I should like to thank you and the church board for allowing us to speak. UMD is ladies and gentlemen, particularly those in your bar, I would appreciate if you would keep it down. I've come a long way. I've come a long way to speak with you, so I would appreciate your respect for 15 minutes. Thank you. Next year, we're going to mark 100 years since the separation of Macedonia, the Treaty of Bucharest in 1913. It's a momentous moment. It is when Macedonia was divided and our people were divided, separated to all parts of the world. We are still paying for that price today. It's a very tragic part of our history, but it also gives us hope. It gives us hope because we are celebrating today what we've tried to do in educating our children and providing them a future. These scholarships we gave today, we're giving across the country and across the world. We do this for our children. We do this in order to ensure that the Macedonian community, our culture, our traditions are continued. So they're not forgotten. So we're not dismissed by people who would rather say, go away, little boy or little girl, stand in the corner, and don't be accounted for until we ask you to speak. That is no longer acceptable. We have a long and honorable history, almost 3,000 years of history. We ruled the world at one time for almost 300 years. We created things that did not exist prior to our time. After us came many things. Came Rome, Byzantium, the Ottoman Empire, and the Enlightenment in Europe. Had it not been for Macedonian intellectual capacities and the mixing of peoples and their gifts to the world, none of those empires would have existed. None of them. They would not have created the knowledge that we seeded. We have a special gift, ladies and gentlemen, as Macedonians. We have a great burden because we have a long history. We also have great joy and a great gift because we have a long memory of the things we were and we will continue to be. These two young people here that received the scholarships today is a representation of the future. We gather here to encourage that future, to support it, so that no one can tell us what to do. Today, we have people in every walks of life, in the highest levels of human intellectual capacities. We have doctors, scientists, engineers, advisors to foreign governments in the US, military officers of the highest standing. We have people at NASA. I can list 1,000 different positions of people that I know of Macedonian descent over the last 100 years who have made their mark in America and across the globe. These are things that we should be proud of. That's one of the things we don't do very well. We don't recognize what we've accomplished. And particularly over the last 50 years, I would say we've accomplished a lot. Think of all the churches. Wherever there's a Macedonian community, there's a church. There is a cultural group. There's a school. There is other social organizations. And then we contribute to the communities around us. Think of the things that you have accomplished in the last 50 years. Some of you may have not been here for 50 years, but many of you have. Think about the things we've done 50 years ago. Where were the Macedonians? Kaj bija Makedonci pred 50 godini? Nikade. Zaboreni. Ostaniti. Neučeni. Today, we have people in every walk of life, in every profession, at the highest level of human intellect, providing valuable insights and contributions to the world. What that means to me, I can't speak for you, I can only speak for me. What that means to me is that we are again re-emerging as a people, as a significant people. We're approximately 7 million people in the world. That's less than 0.1% of the global population. Think about that. So why is it that we are so capable? I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you we are. We work hard, we take care of our families, we belong to our churches, contribute to our people's causes, and we continue our culture. These gifts are worth passing on. The reason I'm involved is in UMD specifically, is because I don't have children, but my brother does. He has 2 small boys, Morgan and Evan, 9 and 5 years old. And I want to tell you a story about Morgan and Evan, a very interesting story recently. Their mother, Suzanne, who's Macedonian, born here, said to them, boys, would you please write your Christmas list together for Santa Claus and to figure out what is it that you want for Christmas? So Morgan, my 9-year-old nephew, says to his younger brother, who doesn't write yet, don't worry, Morgan, I'll write your list for you, okay? You'll grow into the toys, okay, eventually. Smart boy that he was. So his mother said, I don't think so. Of course, that ended. What's the message in this? For far too long, others have been telling us where to be, who to be, what to be. They've changed our names, they've taken our land and our possessions, they've forced our people to become a diaspora, to travel to other countries, to other parts of the world, in order to find safety and opportunity to continue to be who they want to be. We define ourselves, and we've survived because we choose to define ourselves, and we continue to do so. You're not here, ladies and gentlemen, most of you, because something is going to be good for you. You're here because you are supporting those children, those nephews and nieces who will follow you. And that's the purpose of UMD. UMD's purpose is to make sure that we have access to the highest levels of power and to the cultural organizations and international organizations that define what happens in the world. If you're not at the table, you don't get to speak. And by the way, in case you haven't figured it out, and I'm not being insultive here, people don't ask us to come to the table. We have to force our way to the table. And the way we do that is by our ability, our intellect, our contributions. These young people who are going to be professors and scientists and contributors to the greater world. A small fact that you may or may not know. Macedonians have one of the highest per capita university-educated populations in the world. How many of you know that? Raise your hands. 3, 4, 5 people? How is that possible? 7 million people, and we're one of the most educated peoples in the world. You should think about that. That's what I'm talking about. UMD's mission is to provide a future and a voice to the Macedonian people. It is our intent to make sure that no one, and I say no one, dismisses us any longer. This is not tolerable, it's not allowable, and we won't allow that to occur any longer. So let me discuss a program that we began in 2011. We began the Macedonian Companions Program.